All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another live episode of the Officer Nate podcast. I'm sure you guys have been waiting a minute for this one. I'm live with Chris Taylor Brown, lead singer of Trapt. You're gonna have to bear with us. Chris is on the road. He's been kind enough to take some time to join us, but we might have some technical issues with his cell phone service. But we'll do the best we can. Chris, I know you're a busy man, but I appreciate you joining me today. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, so I wanted to ask you about you posted a video or two on TikTok about some dude that he came to one of your concerts or one of your shows, and he was trying to, it sounded like he wanted to meet you or confront you or something, and he did a TikTok saying that like you were scared to come out and meet him and security stopped him. Like what was that about?
And then he said, "Oh, I guess it wasn't Trapt or Chris who had me stopped, but like the guy's got a huge afro, and he shows up like 2 hours, like before bands are even playing.
Yeah.
Like that's obvious. He's obviously showing up so that someone recognizes him, and then like he doesn't have to do any confrontation. That's what I think happened.
Oh,
But it's
gotcha.
like as with anybody, I'm sure if somebody threatened you, you'd say, FO,
Is that what happened? Did
It's
he,
like,
like, you guys have some kind of beef?
no, he's just like, I'm gonna go after Trump supporters, or if you're a Trump supporter, like, I'm gonna like threatening or something. And I just did a message. I'm like, anytime, something like that. And then he like took that as like, let's fight. And I'm like, as with anything, it's like if anybody comes and tries something, then they're gonna have to figure out find out what happened to him.
Yeah.
I'm not certain. I'm not going out looking for fights, but anybody who's saying I'm going to go beat up conservatives or beat up Trump supporters or whatever, I'm going to say, oh yeah, well, come around to a Trapt show or something, See what happens.
You're not gonna back down from it, right?
Nah.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff Trump or TikTok wants to push, I guess. I guess they want their creators to fight each other at shows that are promoted on their platform, or at least I tried it.
It sounds like you have a lot of the same frustrations with TikTok as I do. I mean, I get a video removed at least once a week, and it's full on censorship over there. Have you had the same issues?
Yeah, well, it's weird, because a lot of people get banned for like what I would consider nothing, right? And
Yeah.
then I say, hey, look, there's neo-Nazis in the Ukrainian army. Like, what are we doing? Why are we arming them? And then why are that they allow say the truth on a lot of stuff. So we people on their platform who know the song, who listen to it on their streaming platforms, blah blah blah, whatever. I don't care. I'd rather be part of educate people on what's going on. So I'd rather have that kind of platform than just to show people, just show an extra 10,000, 20,000 people like, oh, look at this great show we had. Like, I'd rather show a million people how the mainstream media lies, So if they, I mean, it's weird that they would allow me to do that, but maybe they think that as long as I don't hit the, really big music fans that probably they want to insulate from politics, so they can just keep lying. They can just keep lying to them and say, oh, this is what, trust the science or this or that, like they don't want those people to hear me, and go, oh, Trapt's doing good or whatever. Like they want everyone to think, oh, Trapt's canceled, like, so nobody likes them, when we're a bigger band now than 2 years ago. It's like And if we had the radio station and the Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and everyone was actually fair to Trapt and let us actually advertise the way they would let any other band that's been in our peer group,
Yeah.
we'd sell just as many tickets, if not more. But
Yeah.
we're doing 400 or 500 a night, and that's with we can't even use targeted ads on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok or Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's no comparison as far as to what other groups get at their disposal if they just toe the line. But I'd rather be like, fuck that shit and do what I want to do and still have fans that appreciate the band and know who the band is. That's the cool part.
Yeah, and what they stand for. You did a video on that just like a day or two. You were talking about how, you guys took a lot of heat and there was some backlash for, you kind of being outspoken about, a lot of your political beliefs, but then, talked about also how you guys are doing well now and how
Yeah.
that's
No,
a testament.
I mean, it was like end of 2020. We got kicked off Facebook. Our streaming kind of dipped down. It seemed like, but 2021 it just started roaring the streaming, and then right out the gate this year too. So
That's
we're up
awesome,
like
man.
50% in the streams across all the different streaming platforms. So hundreds of thousands of more people listen to us every day, and it hasn't dipped. It just keeps going up, and then they're coming out to the shows, and we can't even directly market to them. We just hey, we're doing a tour on TikTok, and I talk some shit on TikTok about how the mainstream media is liars, and people end up finding out that we have a tour. So that's kind of the way that it's going down. So hopefully, TikTok keeps allowing that, or other platforms open up, or whatever. But or just TikTok and different Google and the music industry in general just starts treating me fairly compared to all the other bands, and not like trying to punish me.
Right.
Like the U.S. is trying to punish Putin for invading Ukraine. It's like
Right.
the moral high ground thing is so annoying. It's just like
Yeah.
the same people who run our government, the same people who run the music business. They
Yeah.
believe the same shit. And so it's like they believe they have the power to punish those who don't believe like they do. It's just I hope we get rid of that from top to bottom.
Well, yeah, I hope we can too. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know a lot about the music industry, but I imagine, people in charge of record labels and things like that are just as much a part of, corporate America, or the people who
Oh,
are in charge of.
they work with TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok and the major label reps, they're calling each other every day, dude.
Yeah.
And even the other liberal influencers and shit, TikTok's helping them over me and you all day long.
Yeah.
So whatever audiences we're earning on here is more real.
Yeah.
Than
And you guys are having to put in like all the legwork. Like you guys are just, I mean, you don't get that luxury, like you said, that other bands have, who, whether they're, just as not as outspoken on their political beliefs, or maybe they're more, left leaning, they get the access to Instagram and Twitter and Facebook like you don't, which surprises me, because I'm surprised that TikTok actually hasn't been more of a pain in your ass, but I'm glad they're
Yeah,
not.
they won't let me advertise to people who have music or music and instruments as their top interests, because like I said, they want to insulate those people, keep them ignorant of like what's really going on, and that's millions of people.
Yeah.
And as long as the major label artists and stuff toe the line, they can market to that group of people at lower costs than I can, and I can't even do it at all in most cases. So
Yeah, that's
and
insane.
that's what they do. They're just trying to insulate the real big music fans from hearing the truth from an artist that they like.
Yeah.
And so I get to hit people who are really interested in news and entertainment, and also like the band. So
Yeah.
it's a much smaller slice, but it's a much more real and authentic slice of music fans. So I'm not complaining. I just want to tell fans what I'm overcoming.
Yeah.
It's not complaining. A lot of people are like, oh, you're complaining and you're bitching and shit. It's like I just want fans to know what we're achieving, and despite A, B, and C. You know,
Yeah.
why would I not want to tell fans that? You know, people
Right.
say Trump always complains, and that's all Trump's doing. He's like, we did this, this, and this, despite all these things. You know, all these assholes. You know, we're here doing this and that. So
Yeah.
there's no reason why you wouldn't tell your followers that. You know,
No,
because they're
I
gonna,
mean,
they're gonna wonder why is it harder for you? Well, here's why, and they
yeah.
go, oh, that makes sense. You know.
Well, and it's more respectable too. I mean, you're not selling out to
Yeah.
corporate America. You're not selling out to the politicians. You're, like you said in your TikTok video that you just did, you stand up for what's right, and then, eventually what's right will come back to you. You said you
But
guys you're
yeah,
doing better now, and I think
definitely,
that's loads
and
of
it's great
truth.
to have guys like you, and people who fight for, just what we had 10 years ago, man, and that helps me because, you know, when you don't have all those, conservative or maybe not liberal creators getting sidelined or blackballed or shadow banned or whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
then there's a lot more people who go, yeah, that definitely happens and that definitely exists,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, so certain artists are doing better than other artists. It's like it's not even so much if whether the music's good or not. It's like it's whether they can hit their fans or not. It's whether
Hmm.
the big conglomerate social media platforms and ad platforms allow them to hit those people or not, because
Right.
they have the power to let you hit whoever you're going to hit. And
Yeah.
so TikTok, what they do is they let you say some stuff, but only to they only let you preach to the choir,
Hmm.
so that they get as much as they can. They try to let you hit. They try to have you hit people who go, oh yeah, yeah. They already know.
Yeah.
So the last thing they want you to do is hitting a bunch of liberal music fans, and showing them very clearly that they've been lied to.
Right.
That's what they're fighting, and that there's people on TikTok trying to keep that from happening, and that's just there's no disputing that.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
like
it's
whatever, it's their platform, it's their ideologies of the workers who work there and the moderators. But I'm gonna say this is actually happening, and people want to say you're a liar and that's not true. You're nothing. Nobody would ever want to stop you from telling people shit. It's like, yeah, right. Why would I have the press hit me,
hmm
hit piece after hit piece for a year and a half until they realized this just makes the band bigger.
yeah.
So they just were ordered to stop talking about me because
Yeah.
it's like you're just helping the band, you idiot.
Yeah, you were getting promo, even though it might not have been the greatest, but you were still getting your name was still getting pushed out there.
Oh, better than anything else could have done. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it
Well,
was
and
an
these people that
alternative form. Yeah, it was an alternative form of marketing, and I was just being on brand to what he's been talking about in the songs. So to me,
yeah.
is I was just being myself, and it worked. And it worked as a marketing tactic as well. But it's easy to be yourself. All you got to do is be yourself, and
Yeah.
whatever you feel you need to talk about, you know, go ahead and do
Well,
it. Because I want other people to do that, and with whatever platform that they've got,
yeah.
from bottom to top, from Trump to, the guy who just starts out, with telling people some news or something on TikTok.
Yeah. Well, and like I
So
said, people will recognize the authenticity, and that's much more respectable than someone like, Matthew McConaughey going to the White House and preaching about the same old leftist talking points about gun control, you know what I mean? Like, people are going to know, like your
it's just
fans are
fake.
going to know.
Well, they're like I said, they're appealing to that 30% who still believes them emphatically, who TikTok or YouTube and Facebook do not want me talking to, and
Hmm.
a lot of those people love Trap's music. But oh
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to sacrifice my what I can say on my platform to just hit those extra people. No, no way.
Right.
No way. So how everything worked out is exactly how it would have always worked out every time.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm
So
glad. Like, I'm glad that you're recognizing that things are moving in a good direction for you, and Despite, like you said, it's an uphill battle. Like if you're a conservative voice, which you definitely are, because I follow you, I've seen your videos, and like you said, one of your biggest things is pointing out the mainstream media being disingenuous and flat out lying. And like I said, I think that's a respectable thing to do for a guy in your position who has a lot to lose, but is willing to stick his neck out there for what he thinks is right and to tell people the truth. Still there?
Got me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know if you heard anything I said.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell we are, but it shouldn't be this bad. I think like Baker's.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. All right, cool. I don't know if you heard anything I said just a few seconds ago.
Yeah, you're talking about mainstream media and what they're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Like what their
And so, like I said,
tactics
it's just like that's I mean, like I said, it's the authenticity for me that's respectable, because you're sticking your neck out to talk about something that you believe in, that you believe is a good cause, trying to get people to wake up to the truth. A guy like you has a lot to lose, but you're not afraid to do that.
Yeah, well, you know who just figured out that it's probably a good thing to just be yourself and talk about what you think is not good, and has a massive platform. Elon Musk. So he just
Yeah,
found out. I mean, he just came out swinging this year. So, he's always been active, but he's finally just saying, I'm not gonna, stay on one side or versus the other. I'm just gonna say, this doesn't make sense or that doesn't make sense, and that's what everybody should do.
right.
So he's calling himself a moderate or whatever. It's Republican. Like his views are Republican. Anybody who
Hmm.
feels like they should have a private company with no union is a Republican, dude. Like I don't know what he
Yeah,
knows about politics, but I'd love to tell him, like, dude, you're like actually a hardcore Republican, because there's a lot of Republicans who work at GM and they're fine with the unions, and that's not very Republican, So you're
right.
you're you're actually a pretty staunch Republican. So be who you are, bro. You know
Yeah, let it all out
that's
there. Well, his
yeah.
views on free speech too, and his anti-censorship stuff is why I'm a fan of his. And that's more on the conservative side. That's more right leaning, because as you've
Well,
noticed, you've
he says, oh, you can say it, but you won't necessarily be boosted or heard. So I'm sure that he's going to just kind of deploy the same shadow ban tactics as TikTok.
you
I
think
would
so?
say, because TikTok lets me say a lot of stuff that would piss off TikTok and get me banned easily.
Hmm.
I mean, Twitter,
Yeah,
get me kicked off Twitter or Facebook easily, but does not on TikTok. So I think that's the direction he wants to go.
hmm.
So how TikTok treats me, that's how he would treat everybody. But maybe even less fair than TikTok treats me, because he's saying that if he doesn't agree with the tweet or whatever, he doesn't think he thinks it's disinformation or whatever he thinks it is, not real, then he's just going to demote it.
Hmm.
So he's still going to have the last say. But
Yeah,
at least, stop banning people. That's the thing. Like the shadow banning thing is just as bad, I think, because especially if you're like a celebrity or you have a brand or something, it's like if they're shadow banning you because of your political beliefs, that makes everybody think your product isn't as good.
right.
So how the fuck is that not defamation, dude? How
Yeah,
can these social media companies decide what the narrative is on everybody's brand and everybody's products, even when they spend money with them to promote it there?
right.
They can just say, they can just slag it as much as they want and push it, and push one thing over the other and give everyone a certain view of you.
Right.
that's manipulated by an algorithm, and that, Musk says he's going to let the algorithm be open source. So, I'd love TikTok to do that, but I don't see them doing that.
No, I don't see him doing that either. I'm on my 5th account now, so it's
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised because I have the problems that you have to seem to have with like Instagram. I don't have those issues. I have those issues with TikTok. Like I said, my original account was banned at almost 600,000 followers, and I'm working on my 5th one. I've never had a video removed from Instagram or have had to, start over from scratch after having an account banned. So it's interesting the difference there.
It seems like TikTok, you get your a new account up and running way faster than Instagram.
Yeah, probably because there's a lot more users.
Well, like the Great Londini, you know who that is?
Yeah.
He's gotten banned like a dozen times, and every time he just came back stronger. So they just stopped banning him because it was like, it's like you get like more clout.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, are you still working on are you on your original account, or have you been banned yet?
Yeah, this is the original account that I've always the Trapt official, but they banned my personal account, Headstrong Patriot, for no reason. I guess they only want me to have the one account. Yeah.
Wow. So where are you guys headed? Can you disclose that? Or you headed to another show?
Maybe to Orange County to clear out some storage stuff from when we had stuff in LA a long time ago, and then heading over to Vegas, meeting up with my buddy Anomaly, if you know who he is. We did a song together called "Come Together" 2018, but he's like speaking at this convention, it's a bunch of conservatives and stuff. So we're gonna go hang out with those guys, and then we have a show Thursday in Vegas. So it's gonna be great.
What venue?
I'm not sure what the name is, but it's like in the downtown Las Vegas area.
Okay. Yeah. On this Thursday?
Yep.
Nice, man. So I've always been kind of fascinated. Okay, so as you know, like social media, especially TikTok, most of the users are of the younger generation, right?
Yeah.
And I've always been fascinated with the way rock bands come to be, how they form, and how they eventually gain in popularity and fame, and how they start getting booking shows and things like that. I was kind of reading up a little bit about Trapt. Like, okay, so for example, I remember, like, back in the 2000s when Headstrong was on the radio all the time, and I remember that. But my daughter, who's 17, she was born in 2005, so she really would have no idea what it's like to hear that song on the radio. So I'm just kind of curious as to, if there's younger viewers, younger listeners, I'm sure they'd be interested to know from your point of view, kind of like how you got started, and at what point you realized your band was a success.
I think that I really realized that Trapt was a success after the last couple of years, that we emerged stronger than we were 2 years ago. So like that's the real test, right? When you start pushing back on the industry that gave you your start, because you think that they're pushing lies, and you don't want to be a part of that. Then that's to me, that's when you really got some pride in what you do,
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who like, oh yeah, but especially because of what I write music about, and the lyrics that I write music about. It's like, if we were Lifehouse, then it would be stupid for me to like speak out about this shit,
Right.
But it being Trapt in the lyrics that we've always had in songs on the radio, and the messages, it's like, I just felt like this is the best way to promote the songs, and also try and tie it to the real world events, what's going on in the real world.
Right.
That's so much of music is this escape when it should be about reflection.
Mm-hmm. Well, I never thought about it that way. That's interesting, because a lot of people do. Just like with movies, they listen to music to kind of escape reality. That's an
Yeah, and they
interesting way
get mad at
to
you.
look at it.
They get mad at you if they use you as an escape, and then you're not giving them that escape, and you're frustrating them because you're saying things that they've been brainwashed to believe otherwise. You know, and it's like, I don't need those fans. I don't want those fans,
Yeah.
and pretty much don't have them anymore. So that's great. Is what it is.
just trimming the fat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you, I mean, okay, so as far as your, your political perspective, I have a pretty good idea of, of what that is. I've seen your TikTok videos, I've heard you speak out. I mean, what do you think is, I mean, there's a ton of issues right now, but what is most concerning to you at this point?
Oof, jeez. That nobody can see that Democrats are just trying to force their policies onto Americans by sabotaging the infrastructure of the country, be that food and energy, you know, and not.
Can you hear me? Sounds like we're getting him back. You there, Chris? We'll give it a couple seconds here. Might have lost him for good. Chris, you there? Nope, looks like we lost him. Well, we had him for about 25 minutes. He's traveling through California. It sounds like probably through the desert with little to no cell service. But like you noticed, he's a busy guy, and it was good of him to take the time to join me and have a chat for as long as he could. But yeah, you can see Trapt Official down here on TikTok. Go give him a follow on TikTok. I'm Officer Nate 1.0. You can find me on Instagram as well. Nate's Wilden, NATESWILDN. Give me a follow over there. Like I said, Instagram, it's weird because I have so many issues on TikTok with as far as censorship and getting banned and having videos removed. I haven't had that same problem on Instagram, although my follower growth has stalled out significantly. So I mean, there's that. Like Chris said, you can rebuild an account pretty quickly on TikTok because I mean, there's so many users on TikTok, compared to the other platforms. But give Chris a follow at Trapt Official. He's got some good things to say, and like I said, I admire him for the way he kind of sticks his neck out, the way he's outspoken about his political beliefs, despite this uphill battle he's got with the music industry. So, Chris, thanks for joining me today. Thanks everybody in the chat. I appreciate you. We'll see you next time.